Hi everyone and welcome to Billy Fitzgerald Golf. And tonight I want to help you find your flat spot. Now if you've never heard of that, it's about getting the golf club to work in front of you as your body works basically behind you and away from the ball. So we'd like to keep those things fairly separate or have a fairly separate feeling of that. So the opposite of that would be either the club pulling way in and I move into the ball and now the club's way behind, and now basically your club and your body getting very intermingled, which means now we've got to catch the face up and now there's a lot of timing involved. So let's help you. There's a lot of things to discuss with this. Finding the flat spot, basically where the club face is very stable through this part of your golf swing. So we're going to start with pitching, and we're going to actually start with a little drill before we get to pitching, and what it should feel like to have the club in front of you, and what it feels like to have that flat spot in front of you, so there's not all this trying to catch the face up and twisting and timing in the club. So it feels, once you have this feeling, the golf swing feels very simple. The club head feels very stable. It's very easy to hit it straight, which we'd all, I think, are looking for, and to be very consistent. So if I just took the club, I get my grip, and I stood it out in front of me, and I got the club and I hinged it. So I started here and I hinged it up. If I just basically make my arms go back and forth, what that is, that's what I'm trying to get to, is that's what it feels like, there's a flat spot in front of me. So again, if I face the camera and I go back and forth, there's a flat spot in front of me. So my club's way out there, my body's way back here. So they're not mixing. So when I swing back, my right hip socket works back, and as I swing through, my left hip socket works back. So I've got this inner circle that my body's working on, and this outer circle that my club is working on. And we're going to keep it real small and real simple for the first part of this video. But that's what I mean with the flat spot. When you swing, that's what it will feel like. The only difference is the weight of the club is going to go down into the ground. So we're going to start with a couple little pitches here. So if I were to swing back, the club goes out and it stays out in front of me. So my right hip socket works back, so I turn a little bit. Now as I swing back down, my left leg's going to push my left hip out of the way. So I stay out of the golf ball, and the handle of the club can stay in front of me, and the face of the club can stay in front of me as well. In other words, we get so many times where we get going like this. So the handle works out this way and the club face is behind, and now everything has to stop and catch it up. So that would be the opposite of a flat spot. So we're just going to hit some little ones off a tee. So we're going to make some swings this way. So all you're going to do is hinge the club up, back, forth. Okay, now we got the club down. Now we got to want to feel the same thing. So you start to feel how the face works out in front of you. So the club's going around, the handle's going around my body, and my hip sockets are working back and forth. So they're staying out of the way of that motion. So now we'll grab a little bit longer club, and we'll do what's called the level drill. So there's a few things, there's a few ways we can go about this. So it's the same thing what I just did with a fuller swing. So we're going to get the club, and we're going to hinge the club up, and you're going to swing back. So the club's out in front, right? The handle is right next to my thigh. Now as I swing back, my right hip socket pushes back and up. Now as I swing back down, this left leg pushes back, and my left arm actually goes down and in, and the handle gets right back down in front of me. My left hip keeps working back and up, which delivers the face into the ball. And now as my left hip clears, now I can find that other corner, and the face is still out in front of me, and the handle's working around. So again, I feel this big flat spot. So if I hinge and make my right hip work back, now my left hip work back and my left arm work in, flat and through. So at first it sounds very complicated. It probably looks pretty simple, but these are how you want to feel like those circles are working. So the biggest thing that I'm feeling when I'm doing this is that the club is working on its outer circle. So the club is working on this outer circle, and my body is staying out of the way so I can deliver the club back in front of me with minimal face rotation. So let's do one where we do hinge. You're going to swing back and forward and keep feeling how this flat spot appears. Now the only thing different when I go to hit the golf ball between that and what I'm doing is I'm going to let the weight of the club unhinge into the ball. So if I made a practice swing, I could even do this with the club up. So now when I swing back, it's back. Now I just let the weight of the club fall into the ball. So if we get ready to go, hinge up. As I swing back again, my right hip socket's going to push back. My left hip socket's going to push forward, and then I'm just going to let the weight of the club fall into the ball. And that went very straight. So a couple things that you can focus on with this. Now one is what this left arm is doing. So when I use my left arm correctly, it can really give me a feeling. You know, I was explaining how my legs are working and how my hips are working, but now if I just get my left arm to work correctly, my body will almost take care of itself. Basically, if the task is get my left arm to go up and then down, I've got to get enough space underneath me to feel how so the club has enough room so my leg and my foot and my knee can push away. So again, this left arm, it's going to go back. It's basically going to go up, and when I swing back down, it's going to work back in. So again, if that handle's going in, I have to be able to, I'm pushing away with my body. So again, as I set up and swing back, we're going to focus on the left arm going out, then working in. So the left arm goes out. Okay, now as it works in, you can see where the face of the club gets. Again, the club is in front of me, and I clear out, and now I can exit left. So now I'm going to hit one where I feel that my left arm goes out, and then it works back in, and my body will respond to that. So we'll get ready to go. So again, I want to feel how my left arm is going to go out, then it works back in. So once I get here, this left leg pushes back out of the way. It makes my arm come down and in. So the face of the golf club is still back in front of me, and now I keep moving and I go right around the corner. So again, we talk about these corners. Again, when I worked with Mike Malaska, and Mike has worked a lot with Mr. Joe Nichols, he talks about finding these corners on both sides. So corner one would be right over my toe. So corner one would be, if we set up and swung back, would be right over my toe. Here's the first one. Now my right hip socket works back. Okay, then to start my downswing, my left leg pushes my left hip out of the way, which makes my left arm go in. So I hit that corner again, so that's corner two. Then as it pushes away, it pushes me into impact. And as this keeps pushing, I hit this corner over here, so the grip's going over here. So I'm starting to work with these corners on both sides. So if you make some swings, you start to feel how your body has to react. If my arm is going to go up, if it's going this way, I've got to be able to push back. So again, the club is in front of me, and that's how it shallows. That's how the shallowing occurs. My left arm, my lead arm, once I push back and my left arm goes here, so it's just my arms that are shallowing out. I'm not doing this to the club. So again, if I were to make a practice swing, I swing back, pushes down. See, I find that flat spot again. So there's no timing, there's no twisting in the face. So get ready to go. So it feels very, very stable and very easy through the strike there. So the first thing I'd have you do is work with some wedges and just start to get the feeling of what it's like just to have this. So you start to feel how your hips are pushing back and the face is out in front of you. Now as I start to swing back a little bit further, I feel my left arm go out. Then as I push back down, I feel it work back in. And then through here, I feel that same flat spot as I did with those little swings and with those little wedges. And then again, lastly, we're talking about the corners and where this handle of the club goes on these corners. So again, a lot of it's the same principle, a lot of it's the same feeling, just a different way to look at it. So again, as I swing back, and you talk about these corners, so if I get here, the first corner is here, right? Then I go back, my left arm goes up, and my left leg pushes back. I hit this corner again, it keeps going into the ball. Then as this exits, now I can hit that corner over there. So again, it feels like there's very minimal face rotation. It feels like the club is way out here the whole time. It doesn't feel like there's a lot of timing or flip. And the other thing that it feels like is that my body is working back over here. It's pushing away. It's working on the inside part of my swing. My club is working on the outside part of my swing. So there's not a lot of mixture going on. In other words, mixture would be up here, body goes at the ball, club face goes way back here. It feels the opposite of that. So once I get here and push back, I feel the club come out in front of me. And now I can go with very little face rotation. So again, we'll work on our flat spot one more time. So if you're gonna hit balls, I would hinge up, left arm out, left arm in, feel the flat spot. Make a practice swing, left arm out, left arm in, make your body respond, feel the flat part in front of me. Now we'll go ahead and hit one. So again, there's no timing in that. The ball went dead straight, and I had very little to do with that. It felt like there was very little work in that. So if you want to uncomplicate this swing, I think this concept of finding the flat spot in your swing, working with the corners, feeling how the club works out in front of you. Your body is in the supportive mechanism. It stays back and away. You're working away from the club, away from the ball. It's a great way to learn the game. It's a great way to get better. I hope this helps you and it makes those scores go down out on the course. Hi everyone, like and subscribe to my channel, Billy Fitzgerald Golf, for all tips on golf. If you'd like a live lesson or want to send me a message, visit me at billyfitzgeraldgolf.com.